Well, all sorts of state officials are boasting that they hooked Facebook, but it looks to me like Facebook hooked the taxpayers. We're going to talk about that today. We're also going to talk about Polk County's proposal for a new courthouse. I got some red flags about the $80 million figure. We'll talk about that. And we'll also talk with Al Brody about the Iowa Bicycle Festival coming up this weekend.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Ed Fallon here, folks. Gateway Market and Cafe is your locally owned source for specialty groceries. Enjoy chef-crafted, prepared foods, artisan baked goods, organic produce, specialty cheeses, and hand-selected wines and craft beer. Visit the lively cafe for breakfast, lunch, or dinner 7 days a week. Gateway Market is centrally located on the corner of Martin Luther King Jr. Parkway and Woodland Ave. Stop by or visit www.gatewaymarket.com for more details. That's Gateway Market, folks. Good food, great community.
I'm a burrito.
I'm a fighting burrito, full of fresh ingredients prepared before your very eyes.
I don't have eyes.
I have over 28 options and 268 million combinations, including Rizo for vegetarians.
I can take my meat off and call myself vegetarian.
Put that back on. The Fighting Burrito is locally owned.
I'm owned by some big corporation somewhere. Say, you want to go on a date?
No thanks. I'm seeing a quesadilla.
The Fighting Burrito online, fightingburrito.com. Join the fight.
This is Dr. Holding, the Story County Veterinary Clinic. For 15 years, we have been spaying and neutering feral cat groups at affordable prices. Wild cats destroy game birds and songbirds. A single female cat can produce over 4,000 kittens in 7 years. The shelters are full, so unwanted kittens will be put to sleep. Your cats will stay home and stay healthy. Call us for all your dog and cat needs at the Story County Veterinary Clinic between Ames and Nevada on Highway 30, 1 mile east of Interstate 35, 515-232-8766.
Local farms, global flavor. That's the secret to Hawk's growing popularity. The best meals begin with the best ingredients, and 90% of Hawk's ingredients come from local farms. In addition to seasonal fruits and vegetables, Hawk features grass-fed beef and lamb, and pasture-raised chicken and duck, all raised without hormones, steroids, or cages. The coffee is fair trade, locally roasted, and Hawk's House liquors come from right here in Iowa. Hawk's owners go the extra mile, composting organic waste and recycling. For more information or to make reservations, visit hawktable.com. That's HOQ table.com.
With warm weather finally here, it's time to think about upgrading the efficiency of your furnace and air conditioner. Leonard Tinker Heating and Cooling has provided honest, competent service for over 20 years. Whether it's your home or business, for repair work or to install a more energy-efficient furnace or air conditioner, call Leonard Tinker at 263-0422. That's 263-0422. For honest, competent heating and cooling service, call Leonard Tinker at 263-0422.
The 8th Annual Natural Living Expo is May 18th and 19th at the 4-H building at the Iowa State Fairgrounds. The Natural Living Expo is the place to learn about sustainable practices and healthy lifestyle choices. The expo offers classes and vendors where you'll learn about green building design, sustainable agriculture, urban farming, non-toxic cleaning products, massage, and more. There's no cost to attend, and what you'll come away with is priceless. For more information, visit www.naturallivingexpo.org. That's www.naturallivingexpo.org.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
That's Brother Trucker, folks, and we're kicking this conversation off today here on the Fallon Forum. I want to thank the Iowa chapter of the Sierra Club and also Physicians for Social Responsibility for sponsoring the Fallon Forum and Gateway Market for backing this segment of our show. This segment, we're going to focus on Facebook. After that, Al Brody is going to join us. Al is an amazing bicyclist. He's from Colorado Springs. He's going to be featured at the Iowa Bicycle Festival coming up this weekend in Jefferson, Iowa. And we're also going to talk about the proposed Polk County Courthouse expansion. I've got some reservations about that, although there's a lot of questions, I think, that still need to be answered. But I do want to make a quick plug. Tonight, May 20th, actually this afternoon in Newton, Rob Hogue is hosting a book reading and a signing. He's got a new book out called America's Climate Century. The book signing will be at Mattingly Music and Books. That's right on the town square, I believe, if memory serves. And that'll be at 4:30. The book I've got a copy. I've started reading it. It's really good. America's Climate Century. Rob will have to get in his Prius and drive the speed limit to get to Des Moines for the next event. That's at 6:30 tonight at the Beaverdale Books up there in Beaverdale. So again, you can catch him in Newton today at 4:30, or in Beaverdale tonight at 6:30. Okay, so Facebook is a big corporation. They started out cute and clever, and I like Facebook. I mean, I'm all over Facebook. I do a lot with Facebook. But again, they become a big business, and that's fine. They're very successful. They're filling a niche in social media that is commendable. I like that. What I don't like is this sense of entitlement to taxpayer money to build or expand a facility. Again, I just I don't know how they're able to get away with this. I don't know why more of you aren't more upset. I mean, maybe folks listening to this show are upset, but I mean, this is just to me incredible that they've gotten away with this. The article in today's paper. Looks like we got a phone call coming in. 244-0077 if you want to ever join this conversation, folks. The Des Moines Register should not be part of Facebook's PR campaign. They have plenty of money. They can hire their own PR firm, okay? But to have the Des Moines Register on your site, I mean, when you're looking at, count this, for a front page story, then you got 1, 2, 3 full pages in the Sunday Register. 3.5. I mean, the front page plus 3 on the inside, without a single word of anybody saying, "Hey, maybe this is a bad idea." You give me a break. You think that given out, I know that the direct subsidy from the state is $18 million, but you factor in the other tax breaks they're going to get, we're looking at probably $35 million. $35 million for what? Well, they were saying that they would create 250 construction jobs. Now suddenly they found a way to increase that tenfold. Now it's suddenly 2,500 construction jobs. I don't know I don't know how you get from 250 to 2,500 unless you were really, really wrong at first, or you're really trying to pull the wool over our eyes this time. But even still, 2,500 temporary construction jobs plus 31 actual long-term jobs, and we're paying $35 million for that. I mean, this is nuts. This is absolutely nuts. And I've said this before. But the real story that came out in the Des Moines Register's coverage of this. Well, I mean, let me just talk you through it. It's just, to me, it's mind-boggling. Okay, so back in 2011, some guy named Matt. He doesn't even say his last name. I mean, if I get a call from somebody I don't know, I expect a first and last name. I mean, I don't go for this secrecy stuff or this anonymity stuff. But apparently, that's how these folks work. Maybe this is par for the course in the business world. Maybe state officials are used to getting calls from Matt, no last name given. He's telling somebody with the Iowa Department of Economic Development that he represents an internet company that's looking to build a data center. Okay. He offers no other details. This is October 6th of 2011. No last name, no phone number, no company name. I'm surprised the Register is kind of treating this like, we scored a good one, and the state officials involved are like, we hooked Facebook. It's like they caught some big dang fish. Well, if I spent $35 million on fishing gear, I would hope I'd catch a really, really big fish. Again, I think the taxpayers are the ones who got hooked on this. And here's the thing: is we didn't even know this was happening. The whole thing was done behind closed doors. Okay, so. The article goes on to say Iowa is one of 30 states, according to this guy, Matt, who later gave his name as Siculus, which isn't his last name. It's a pseudonym that is used to it's from an anonymous Gmail account. You know, why don't they get the FBI involved with this stuff? I mean, the FBI, this is what they do for a living, is they do covert operations. This is basically a covert operation to somehow, I'm going to use the word steal, a big bunch of our tax money for a project that probably would happen anyhow. And again, so let's say it doesn't happen in Iowa. Okay, so there's some temporary construction jobs we don't get, and we miss out on 31 jobs. I mean, for $35 million, you could create a lot of construction and a heck of a lot of small business, business opportunities from businesses that aren't going to just be looking for the next handout and move somewhere else. I mean, that's how this stuff works. They're here today, and I don't know, I'm guessing that the usual scenario here is it's a 10-year commitment. I'm guessing once that 10 years commitment is up, they'll be playing the field again. They'll be putting the word out to other states, other countries even. Hey, what kind of money you want to give us? What kind of a situation can we land? Whether it's more money, lower wages, more looser working conditions. And I'm not saying Facebook is that kind of a company, and I do commend them for trying to make this facility as green as possible. I mean, one reason they did like Iowa was the fact that we have a lot of wind energy here. Good. So if you like the wind energy, if you like the fact that we have an educated workforce, that we have a very affordable quality or affordable standard of living, a very high quality of life, yeah, that should be enough. That should be enough. And, chances are it might be enough. I mean, there needs to be a compact, an agreement across the country. States and cities need to get on board and say, look, we're going to stop being taken for suckers. Okay, Iowa was hooked, but we were the sucker fish that got hooked for a big chunk of money. Okay, so from that tenuous beginning, writes the Register, Iowa embarks on an 18-month odyssey. I love all these glorious terms. Odyssey that will snare one of the most highly prized economic development deals in the nation. Really, 31 jobs is one of the highest prized economic development deals. And, think about what we're doing here. Facebook. Again, social media is moving so fast, you can't keep up with it. I mean, my little phone was a hot item about 5 years ago. It's so dated right now. I get teased about it all the time, and I don't mind that. So keep teasing me. Go ahead. I don't care. But the fact is that Facebook may be the big name, the big deal now. It's going to change. I mean, Twitter is really kind of moving faster, I would think, in terms of more involvement. I know plenty of people, and again, I use Facebook a lot. I quote like Facebook. I have a personal page. I have a public figure page, and it was a tough call because I had to choose between public figure and fictional character. I settled on public figure, but not without giving that some serious thought. So, but I know a lot of people who are bailing out of Facebook. And I was probably I think I should look into this. I might have been the first adult in the country on Facebook, because when I was first on, it was either 2004 or 5. Every one of my 500 friends was under the age of 21. And I actually wasn't using it. It was my campaign staff when I was running for governor who were operating my Facebook page. My kids were appalled when I actually started operating it myself. But look, I mean, young people many of them are no longer using Facebook like they were. I know plenty of people who aren't as active on it, have deactivated their accounts. My point is, but Facebook does play a very important function, a number of important functions on the personal level, on the professional level. But there's more and more opportunities like that competing. I mean, Google has their option. There's so many things out there. I can't even remember the names of them all now. But the bottom line is, this thing is probably not going to be a long-term growing phenomenon. I mean, I think it really is. It's just a matter of time. It's very different than Google and Yahoo. It's a function that, again, can be provided by a lot of different entities that will probably eventually move on. So we've landed something. We've landed a big fish that we're not probably going to get to eat in its entirety because such is the nature. Its shelf life. That's my prediction. My prediction is the shelf life of Facebook is going to be fairly short-lived in terms of how long we expect our business ventures to last. All right, so the Register is just an embarrassing, drooling. Just 3.5 pages of just nothing but fluff. The next big fish is one of the subheadings. This is this one's this is this is the next big fish that they're working on apparently down at the Iowa Economic Development Authority. It's called Project Oasis. Again, nice to know that out here in the desert that we can occasionally, with the help of lots of taxpayers' money, build us a little oasis. Project Oasis is the next big deal Iowa is chasing. By Iowa, this means probably Terry Branstad, Debbie Durham with the Economic Development Authority, and a handful of other people. We won't know until the very end because we aren't supposed to be part of these conversations, even though it's our money. Okay, though they're calling the next big deal, the next big fish, Project Oasis. No other information is available. This is our money, folks. Our taxpayer money, and no other information is available. We didn't know about Facebook until the day it was announced. We had no input. There was no public conversations about this, no public hearings, nothing. And that's the same. And they're just saying this with impunity that that's how it's going to be. And again, one of the reasons this can happen is because the Economic Development Department, it used to be called the Iowa Department of Economic Development, or IDED, and there were those who wanted to change it to IDEA. Instead, we got more than just a cosmetic change. They changed it so that it's now a public-private entity. And as such, it is able to operate in secret. It is able to take our money, our tax dollars, and come up with these rosy deals behind closed doors with no public input, with no media coverage, and we have nothing to do with it. We have nothing to say for it. And again, then you've got these ridiculous, columns, articles in the Des Moines Register that are just nothing but praise. No critical thinking. I mean, you can't tell me there's not somebody. I mean, the reporter, Danielle Eller, spent how many days on this? How many weeks on this? And she couldn't find one person to talk with. I would have volunteered. I know Dave Swenson up at Iowa State University, who's far more qualified to talk about this than I am. He certainly would have had something to say. I can't believe that that's the best the Des Moines Register can do. And I can't believe that's the best that Iowa can do. And now it's, here's Debbie Durham's quote regarding the next big fish, Project Oasis. Quote, "My lips are sealed." Well, gosh, I would love to be able to fire somebody who wouldn't talk to the general public about, I'm not saying she's doing a bad job, but the fact that we've gotten to the point where somebody feels that they can act with that level of unaccountability, no accountability. We're going to do all this, and then we're going to let you know how it turned out. Well, we didn't hook Facebook, folks. Facebook hooked us. Yeah, and I doubt we've even seen the full extent of all the subsidies yet. Again, $18 million for sure. That's the state tax credits. There are probably a lot more dollars coming in through Altoona, the city where the plant is located. I guess here's the other quote from Debbie Durham. Quote, "There's such a buzz on this," and maybe there is a bit of a buzz across the country, but quote, it says there's something happening in Iowa. Okay, so wait, let me get this. 31 jobs land in Des Moines Metro at this cost, and that's a buzz? I mean, why? Okay, the art festival, the art show, yeah, that's a buzz. 8035, the Des Moines Social Club and all the things they've done. I mean, you start really, it's a lot of, one bee by itself doesn't make much of a buzz. When you get a whole hive, though, then you can start hearing it. Then you can start, then you become aware that, yeah, there is a buzz. One company with 31 jobs is not a buzz. Here, the real buzz is that Iowa is gullible, that Iowa no longer believes in open government, that we operate behind closed doors, giving away taxpayers' money to the next big fish that comes along. If the fish has a big enough mouth and classy enough scales, I guess we're gonna try to land that trophy and put it on our wall. Okay, so it isn't just the state that it isn't just the Department of Economic Development acting like this. We now have the end of session rolling ahead of us, and we have legislators negotiating in private as they try to close down the session. Again, all that time and effort that citizens put in, visiting their legislators, lobbying, it matters nothing anymore, apparently, because No, it isn't. These deals aren't being worked out in conference committees where people can go in and sit in and reporters can get back to us as to what's happening. It's happening behind closed doors. All this from a governor that promised more open government, that promised to be forward about information, about the process. All this from Governor Branstad, who is taking government, turning it into an adjunct of corporate America, and operating the entire system as if it was a private venture where we have no right, no opportunity to be a part. I think that's really, really wrong in a huge way, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the legislative stuff going on right now. We got to take a break, and when we come back, I believe Al Brody is going to join us. Al Brody is from Colorado Springs, a friend of mine. I've met him on Ragbri. The guy is the most, I think he's probably done more Ragbris than anybody but John Karras. Maybe that's not true, but it sure seems like it because he's been there every year for as long as I can remember. He's coming to Iowa to headline the Iowa Bicycle Festival this coming weekend in Jefferson in Greene County. We're going to talk with him about that. I do want to take a second to thank Gateway Marketing Cafe for sponsoring this segment of our show. Love that Gateway Cafe, folks. A lot of the stuff that you can get there at the grocery store is from local farms, from local sources. And, of course, they've got a fantastic cafe as well for breakfast, lunch, or supper, and a catering service. Do not forget their catering service as you're planning your function, your spring function, your graduation party, your wedding, whatever's going to be going on this spring or summer. Give them a shout, folks. That's Gateway Marketing Cafe at 20th and Woodland. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Drug and alcohol addiction slowly steals a person's identity, tearing away pieces of their life little by little until one day it seems like the hope of a happy future is gone and there's no chance of getting it back. Here at St. Gregory Retreat Centers, we can assure you that there is hope. Our unique approach to recovery begins with the understanding that the dysfunction and damage caused by addiction can be overcome, not just dealt with. Don't let another day go by. Call St. Gregory today.
The dawn of a new era begins.
Well, good morning. This is the 7th of June in the Lord's year 2010, and this is day 1 of webcast1live.com. We will begin with Max World Live with my special guest, Tom Coates. In just a minute, there's Tom. Wait. Howdy. And we will be live for the very first time on Webcast One Live. Someday we're going to look back on this and say, gosh, remember that old day in history? Wonder where Walter Cronkite was. He must have been around hanging there too. But actually, it's the beginning of Webcast One Live. And thank you for listening. Thanks, Rob Spearman, and everybody who's put together this project together. And we're ready to go live now. So thanks for listening to MaxWorldLive.com.
I can't tell you that it's going real well from time to time, but it is going, man.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Welcome back, folks. That's Mr. Baber's Neighbors. I want to remind people about the Matthew Shepard Scholarship Awards Dinner coming up on June 7th. This year's awards dinner will honor Alicia Claypool, who's done a lot of work for equality, for marriage equality, and for GLBT equality generally. She'll be recognized along with some distinguished Iowa high school students. And this is the real
classic cleaning products, massage, and more. There's no cost to attend, and what you'll come away with is priceless. For more information, visit www.naturallivingexpo.org. That's www.naturallivingexpo.org.
I love driving to Newton to see the
Me
races.
too, but I only have to drive across town.
You live in Newton?
Yep, Newton's got small town charm and it's close to Des Moines. I love the safe, friendly neighborhoods and family-owned businesses. And Newton's wind energy industry is really taking off.
How'd you find your home?
Dan Kelly with First Choice Realty. And Dan helped me find my office too.
Next time, instead of just speeding by, I'll stop in and check out Newton.
Why don't you check out Newton? Call Dan Kelly at 641-521-9260 or Dan Kelly at mchsi.com.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
I'm not the guy who cared about love. I'm not the guy who cared about fortunes and such. Never cared much.
Max Wellman, folks, we're going back to the final segment of this show. Quick look ahead. Well, I had the most amazing dream this weekend, and I'm going to share that with you in detail tomorrow. It does take a little bit of time to talk through it, but I talk a little bit about it today in my update. If you want to get a little taste of where I'm going with this, it's on my website, the FallonForum.com. It's the very front and center article on the homepage. Yeah, basically a conversation with President Obama that it was very real and fascinating because it did not go the direction that I thought it was going to go, and yet it held, great. I thought some great insights for me personally. We'll talk about that tomorrow. What else? I've got we've got to take a look at this governor's race. On the Democratic side, we've got State Senator Jack Hatch and apparently Tyler Olson perhaps thinking about it. Little surprised that Tyler Olson would be thinking about it since he has just become the head of the Iowa Democratic Party. But heck, been that for 6 to 8 months now. Maybe that's a good launching pad for a statewide race. Also going to talk tomorrow with veterinarian Kim Holding about the recent lawsuit that favored Monsanto over a little Indiana farmer. Quick look ahead at the rest of the week. Wednesday, I'm fascinated by this. Well, of course, these things always get attention, but the allegations made by a longtime GOP staffer at the state Senate that she was harassed by male legislators and other staffers at the State House. That's an interesting situation. Maddie, I'm in that amazing sinking chair where it just starts dropping me to the ground. Why is that? What's wrong with this chair? So she alleges that she was harassed repeatedly by male legislators, caucus staff members. I don't want to judge this. This is the sort of thing that you do want to let play out in the court. And I think, the article is, in this case, fair and balanced. Unlike the Facebook article, this one, at least, I think, makes it clear that it's not sure. They're not sure what's happening. Again, she may be right. I don't know, but she may not. I think it's worth talking about. We're going to try to get her and someone from the Republican Senate, the Republican Senate Leader's Office on the show on Wednesday. May or may not succeed. We'll talk about it anyhow. I forgot. Jeff Danielson is going to join us. Jeff Danielson is a leader on the Senate Democratic side. We're going to talk about campaign finance reform on Wednesday. He'll be joining us in the studio unless something derails and the session demands him back. Also Thursday, we'll talk with Ron Yarnell. We're going to talk about the Obama administration has some problems, IRS, Associated Press, whatnot. We're going to talk about those, Benghazi. We're also going to, ideally, Dan Kelly, State Representative Dan Kelly will be able to join us, and Nikisha Phillips as well. And also Suman Haq, who owns Haq Restaurant in the East Village. We're going to talk a little bit about the recent tragedy back in his home country of Bangladesh, but on the positive side, also look at what he's accomplishing as a new restaurant that purchases 90% of its food from local sources. I'm really looking forward to Friday because it isn't too often you get to fight with your friends. But Ben Stone, great guy, ACLU, myself, Charles Goldman, Ben, we're almost always on the same page. But The ACLU is, from my point of view, on the wrong side of the campaign finance issue. We're going to talk with, actually, I'll probably just try to stay out of the conversation and moderate, because as much fun as it would be to double team Ben, I think Charles and Ben going at it with me just kind of trying to keep the parameters, on track. That would be enough. Although I do think Heather Ryan will be joining us, so maybe we will double team Ben, pending discovering where Heather goes on this issue. So got quite a week lined up for you folks. Hopefully you'll be able to tune into some of the other programs as well. Before I talk a little bit about the Polk County Courthouse, I just want to point out this, again, when you get to the end of the session, I understand that, especially when you've got a split situation, where you got a House controlled by Republicans, Senate controlled by Democrats, it's going to take some haggling, some wrangling to figure out the details, to get to some kind of agreement where you can feel like you've accomplished something for everyone. I understand that. That's what conference committees are for. Conference committees, convene. You got a balance of folks from the two chambers that come to agreement, and that work is done in public. It's not done behind closed doors. This closed door stuff started happening years ago. I can't remember whether it was the hog confinement issue or the corporate welfare Iowa Values Fund issue that first started these closed session discussions. They aren't even conference committees. They're handpicked. Well, I know conference committees are handpicked by leaders as well, but these were special committees that met behind closed doors, and that has become so prevalent now to the point that the session is winding down, and we have no idea what's happening. The public's not allowed at the meetings. The press isn't allowed at the meetings. It is all kinds of wrong. I will say at least this much about the Polk County Board of Supervisors. They operate in the open. Well, sometimes. At least in this case. And I say that because years ago, back in 1996, when the Polk County Board of Supervisors proposed expanding the jail, they wanted to build a new jail. And they had private meetings to try to get lawmakers and other key people on board. And I was invited to one of those. And me, Harold Hughes, Bill Reichart, came away thinking, hey, this is not a good idea. Now, they ended up talking Harold Hughes into thinking it was a good idea. But Bill Reichart, myself, Maggie Moss, all agreed, no, we do not need this massive expansion of the Polk County Jail. And actually, I ended up chairing Maggie Moss was kind of the go-to person. I was the treasurer and did a lot of the organizing behind the scenes. We put together a pretty good brochure. We had Evelyn Davis on our side, George Flagg, Dave Hurd. I mean, a lot of people who questioned the financial wisdom of it, and also questioned whether we needed another jail and whether we would just continue to incarcerate more people. And really, that's what's happened. We defeated it. We defeated it pretty solidly. It was June 27 back in 1996, I believe. And the next time they tried to build a new jail, they did that when I was running for governor. And there was no opposition organized, and they passed it. And now we have this big new jail out in Ankeny, where I did get to visit once. It's an intimidating facility. And again, I question whether it was needed. Now they want to expand the other end of the criminal justice spectrum, that is the courthouse. I don't have a fully formed opinion on this yet, but the red flags are up. $82 million. And this is a courthouse expansion that was tried before. It was tried back in, was it 2008? And voters rejected that plan. And a lot of that involved building a whole new facility. And this one focuses more on renovating the existing courthouse, and that may attend to some of the dissension. But I question. I've spent some time in the courthouse. Spent a whole week there earlier last year. It's a busy place. I don't have a good feel for how the working environment is. It looked to me that everything was happening adequately. Part of the problem is we've got a county attorney, John Sarcone, who, in my opinion, is very, very aggressive about locking people up. about prosecuting people. I mean, again, for example, there was no need to prosecute 15 people for a misdemeanor, for a trespassing. I guess it was a criminal trespassing charge, but it's just a simple trespassing charge at the Iowa State Capitol complex on the Occupy movement. And in fact, the previous a previous county attorney said there's no way he would ever have prosecuted trespassing charges. I mean, the cost of the taxpayers to the county, the clogging up of the system with people. I mean, there's no need for that. And there are a lot of folks who believe very strongly we should be doing more with community-based corrections, not just at the state level, but at the county level as well. We should be doing more with all sorts of programs that don't lead to a trial, that don't clog up the judicial process. So I'd rather see, I want to make sure that we have that conversation. And if this is indeed a bad idea, and again, I don't know for sure, if I had to guess right now, I'm going to guess it's a bad idea, even though it may be a little bit better than what happened in 2008. I suspect it's something that we're going to want to look at very, very closely. And I hope we do that. Because, again, at least the county board of supervisors is acting in the open. They're not doing this behind closed doors like Governor Terry Branstad likes to do. And at least the Register reporter on this beat, Jeff Eckhoff, is, I think, providing a balanced presentation of what's going on. Again, you don't get that when it comes to economic development from the Des Moines Register. They tend just to give it the glossy, they tend to be just another PR wing of Governor Branstad's economic development team. On this issue, no, I think we can count on this being a little more positive, a little more balanced. Okay, so again, I will say this, that even though I think that we're going to see that balance, the first article on this in today's paper, no, there is no comment from people who might have reservations. So I, again, strongly encourage those who are pushing this to be fair, to allow folks who might have some criticism, who might have some reservations. What about, at a bare minimum, they could have gone out and talked with the previous opponents, the opponents from 2008. Anyway, there was a committee organized against it back then. Wasn't involved. I was running for Congress. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But again, I think it deserves very, very, very careful scrutiny. Okay, so I like the quote from Tom Hawkinsmith. I don't agree with it, but I think it's instructive. He says at the end of this article, quote, "It's a little easier to go out to the general public and say, hey, clean water is important." He's referring to the bond issue passed last year by, 70%? It was a big margin of approval. It was a bond issue to approve money for improving the county-owned facilities, parks like Chautauqua, whatever it is. Chautauqua, there we go. Jester Park, other places like that. That was an easier sell. Hawkinsmith's right on that. That is an easier sell. Then he goes on to say, but when you go out and talk about the courts, as important as the courts are to society, if it doesn't affect you directly, it's hard to get people to feel real passionate about raising property taxes. Well, most people are affected by the courts, so I don't think that's a fair characterization. I think people, it's a question of priorities. People saw the value in cleaner water here in central Iowa. They saw the value of making our parks more appealing, more attractive, expanding the amount of land in parks. I think that was an easy sell because people really get why that's important, whether they like to canoe, fish, hunt, just hike, whatever, the picnic, family events. There's so many reasons why people find our parks attractive, usable. The court's not as friendly a place as a public park. And that's part of the problem here. More and more people are ending up in court for reasons that don't make sense. That's my take on it. So, yeah, it's not that we don't have direct experience with the courts. It's that they're not as favorable as our direct experience with public parks. Anyway, we're going to talk more about this issue in the future. It's going to be a while coming, but I want to keep abreast of this. I want to see what kind of analysis comes out, and we'll see what kind of opposition develops. And I'm almost sure there will be some opposition. Whether I'll be a part of it or not, I don't know. Anyway, I do want to thank again Al Brody for tuning in and remind folks about the Iowa Bicycle Festival coming up this Saturday, May 25th in Jefferson, Iowa. I want to remind you once again about the Matthew Shepard banquet coming up on June 7th. You can go online to my website, fallonforum.com, and learn more about that. I want to remind folks about the $1 Million Marathon. If you'd like to do a marathon, they need folks in this part of the country, West Coast. They need folks. They've got 120, I think, out of 160 already lined up, but they still need some folks willing to run a marathon to help support cancer research. Again, so much going on. I also want to thank Hawk Restaurant. Hawk is a wonderful new restaurant at East 5th and Locust. I'll have the owner, Suman Hawk, on this program later this week, talking about his home country, Bangladesh, but also about the local foods movement. And nobody's doing a better job in terms of the restaurant scene of tapping into the local food opportunities than Suman is. It's a phenomenal place with great, the creativity of the dishes is out of this world. And the ingredients, well, you can't beat them. They're coming from Iowa farms. I want to thank Maddie Arrington, my producer, and Webcast One Live. I'll be back tomorrow.
I'm Brian Leach, owner and general manager of Service Legends. I brought along a couple of the home comfort heroes.
Hi, I'm Tammy Wells.
I am Nick Wondershide.
I'm administrative manager.
I'm the senior technician
from Service Legends.
It seems like every good thing, when you feel it to the bone that it's good, there's a lot of hard work put behind it. I don't think that you can fake it and have it turn out good.
You know, if we seem like, okay, that's just weird, it's just a furnace, why would you believe so deeply in a furnace? It's not just that, you know, we want to show the world that you can have good service.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotta be, it's your home.
You know, it's built into our daily trainings, it's built into our culture, that we're gonna do whatever it takes to have each client say they love us, period.
That's why we spend all the hours in the training that we do. And if we guarantee it's gonna be a good experience for you, or else it's free, what type of work do you think we're gonna do?
There is a guarantee.
Temperature selection guarantee, fixed right or it's free guarantee, comfort guarantee, best value guarantee. All of these guarantees hold us accountable to ensuring that we exceed your expectations. And if for whatever reason we'd fail and we can't make it right, we guarantee all of those guarantees with a 100% money back guarantee.
I mean, if you don't think that your technician can fix it right, are you gonna say that to a client? No.
You don't have to worry about having a technician come to your house.
We drug test, background check all of our team members. We put safe people in your home. Each and every one of our service techs, 400 hours a year in training.
You tell it the minute they walk in the door. They know what they're doing, they've done their homework, and they actually truly care about what you want.
Because at the end of the day, you're the person that makes sure I have a job.
They're gonna be listening. They're gonna wanna know what your challenges are. Then they're gonna come and give you options, and you get to choose.
If I'm there to help and I make it easy and painless, I did my job right that day.
Well, when it comes to your comfort, safety, and your family, you know, you don't necessarily go buy the most expensive, but you get the most bang for your buck.
Oh, it's worth it, because there's a lot of people that will find a way to get it to work right now and then leave and then come back, charge you again, and the cycle just repeats itself. So when I'm out there looking at the furnace, I want to find why it failed today. How can we change the part today with something that you're not going to have to worry about? Is it worth changing the part today? I mean, you can put a lot of money into a furnace. I can fix parts all day. There's good job security in that for me. But is it the right thing for you?
I get a lot of the phone calls of after the technicians are there. They're just in awe. They're like, wow, you guys are great. I mean, I don't even know what to say. You guys are great. Everything you did is perfect. It's great.
Keep going though. I like this.
Just give us a try. I'm gonna take all the risk.
I've got the time to make this right. I've got the support to make it right.
Just check us out.
And if you don't see the value in what we do,
I mean, fixed right or it's free or 100% money back.
Enough said.